Mm, 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 mm. Hey, 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 family. How you doing today? So that's the type of music that I be hearing in my head. For those who watch me periodically and see me dancing, that's the type of music I be hearing in my head, y'all. But I want to say good morning, good evening, good night, depending on where y'all are tuning in at or location, whatever. Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm gonna give y'all a few minutes to get here. Hit me up in the comments and let me know that you are here. Say hi. Hey, 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 hey. In at or location, whatever. I always do that. Trying to get my life together over here, over here. Mm-hmm. Hey, hey, hey. Let me know when y'all get here. Hit me up in the comments, and I'm going to be starting up in a minute. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining in to Tea Time with your girl P. I hope y'all got your tea together. Oh, let me fix my mic situation. I didn't realize that my mic wasn't plugged up. Let me get my life together. I'm behind the power curve. There we go. There we go. Can y'all hear me a little bit better? Can y'all hear me a little bit better? Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Okay, so I'm letting my tea cool off, so I'm gonna drink me some water. I gave y'all a little bit of time to join in, but we're gonna go ahead and get started because I don't want to keep y'all waiting. Ooh, ooh, sorry about that. Mouth was getting parched. I feel like I've been talking all day. Yes, so welcome to Tea Time with your girl P. Today we're gonna talk about 5 things that are keeping you from having a meaningful and lasting relationship. Um, for me, can't even read my own handwriting. So for me personally, I have had 3 marriages and 3 divorces, and I'm currently working on my 4th marriage, which is by far the best marriage relationship I have had. So I've learned these things over the years from research, being in school and learning about people, and I've also learned in my experience what absolutely does not work. So I wanted to have this conversation with you, um, because what I don't want to happen is for you to get in a relationship, decide to get married, and end up in a divorce. Because again, I've had 3 divorces, not 1, not 2, but 3 of them. And let me tell you, regardless of whether you want it, don't want it, it's mutual, or you don't feel like you don't care about it, it still hurts. It still hurts. And it still has major effects on you psychologically and emotionally. And it's something that you still need to deal with and address. But my purpose here is to help you prevent that, help you strengthen your marriage, help you start off developing a relationship better than your previous relationships. And although I've had 3 marriages, I've had countless relationships in the in between, just trying to just figure out life. So, unfortunately, I have a lot of experience and knowledge when it comes to relationships. That does not sound good at all. However, again, via experience, via research, getting my degrees and everything, I've learned a lot about people and relationships. And today, we're going to talk about 5 things that's preventing you that is sitting here watching this and listening to this from to help y'all have a more lasting relationship. We're going to talk about the 5 things that's preventing you from having that. Of course, there's a tons of things, and some of it is like more on an individual level. But I want to talk about the 5 things that is preventing you, because this message is for a particular group of people, and you will know who you are when you hear this message. So I just want you to know I'm here for you. So we're going to talk about number 1. The first thing that we are that is preventing you from having a lasting relationship is lack of self-knowledge. You don't know who you are, and if you've listened to me before, you've heard me talk about this, and I think it's very powerful. And the thing that bothers me the most about this, well, I'm not even gonna say that bothers me the most. I'm gonna say 2 things that hinders me, that irks my nerves. I don't want to say hinders me. 2 things that hinder me, that just gets up under my skin, that bothers me so much. And I said hinder again. I just thought about it. The 2 things that get up under my skin is, 1, that's just the way I am, and just deal with it. If you don't like who you are, you can change it. You don't have to be a mean person. You don't have to be a loud person. You don't have to be a ratchet person. You don't have to be a violent person. Each one of us can choose who we want to be. It may take a minute for you to learn how to act in that way. And even in the beginning, it may feel like you're acting. But over time, it would become who you are. But you have to put forth the effort and the work to do it. But many people will not go through that journey. They don't want to go through that journey because it's hard. It's hard. And then you have people from your past that's like, oh, that's not who you are. Oh, what about that time when you did this? And they like to bring up the old version of you. And it makes your journey hard when you're trying to transition into someone different. Doesn't make it impossible. It just makes it harder for you to transition. But we'll talk about that a little bit later. And the other thing that gets up under my skin, just makes me itch, is I found out who I was. I knew who I was since I was 12 or 18 or 25 or whatever the case may be. I don't need to go do no soul searching. I already did that. That gets up under my skin so bad because we are ever changing. We are always evolving. Events affect us and we affect events. And so if you don't take the time to learn who you are, not just one time, it's a journey. And you have to constantly visit, be like, hey, wait, who am I today? How am I feeling today? Has this relationship changed me? Has this event changed me? How has this event affected me? We don't take the time to ask ourselves these questions, not not understanding that dealing with, negativity, or even being in a hospital all day, or whatever the case may be, when you're dealing with all of this all the time. I'm sorry, I feel like I'm yelling, but it's a car alarm going off right now, and I feel like I gotta talk louder than that. So that if I'm screaming, that's why I'm screaming. Anyway, so when you're around a lot of negative stuff a lot, when you're around a certain people a lot, those things will begin to affect you unknowingly. Affect you. If Well, I'm not even gonna say unknowingly. It can be unknowingly if you don't take the time to evaluate yourself. But for those who don't evaluate yourself, it, those stuff will unknowingly rub off on you. And so that's why you gotta constantly check to see who you are, know who you are, know where you're going, know where you at right now, know where you came from, and how all that stuff plays a part in who you are right now. It's not a one-time thing. It's not. I'm sorry. For those of you who think that is a one-time thing, oh, I know who I am. I did that 10 years ago, and yeah. Well, no. And if you haven't changed from in 10 years, that is an even bigger problem. So take the time to know who you are. Knowing who you are is vital when you're going into a relationship, because you know the things that you're looking for, you know the things that you need, and you know the things that you're going to tolerate. And things that you tolerated when you were 18 are not necessarily things that you tolerate when you're 25 or 36 or 42 or however old you are. Those things tend to change over time as our priorities change over time. So know who you are and what you need and what you're looking for before you go into the relationship. And if you're already in a relationship, go ahead and have those conversations. Have those conversations about who you are and what it is that you want. Oh, yes, Lord, the alarm finally went off. It was irking me. I was like, I need to go see who that is. It's like, ugh. Anyway, so if you're already in those in a relationship, you're already married, these are conversations you need to have every so often. I would say at least once a year, but I like to have once a quarter or periodically. Often I like to have these conversations just to check in to say, hey babe, this is what I noticed about you. What have you noticed about me? This is what I noticed about myself. This is where I'm going. These are the things I'm trying to do. Have that check in with your spouse or your significant other, um, and that will help build and keep the communication open in a relationship. I'm trying to cool down my tea. If y'all have any questions or comments about that thing, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. If not, we're gonna move to tip two. Oh, not tip. The second thing that's preventing you from having a lasting and meaningful relationship. Oh, this thing got my thing fogging up. Yeah, it's hot. I waited too late to make it, so I didn't have time to let it cool down. I had to make sure the herbs were steamed up. So we're gonna move on to the second thing, which goes kind of hand in hand with the first thing. So the second thing is people fail to accept the other person for who they are. So if you see this person is a liar, a cheater, don't think you're going to change them. Don't think that your stuff is that good that it's going to prevent them from being who they are. Don't think that you got this amount of money that's going to change a person from who they are. You need to accept that person for who they are, not who they say they are, not, whatever, or who you think they are, or who you want them to be. Accept them for who they are at that moment. Not saying that they won't ever change, because people change, they evolve. And sometimes I don't know the opposite of evolve, but goes backwards. I want to say de-evolve. I think I just made that word up. Don't judge me. So not accepting that person for who they are causes rift in a relationship, because you're expecting them to be this person, or you're trying to make them become this other person, and that's not who they are at all. Zip zero. So now the person is frustrated because you're over here talking about this, and this, and they're like, yo, I don't even like that. No, I don't want to do that. No. And now you're feeling some kind of way. But you knew from the beginning who this person was, but you failed to accept that. Stop trying to change people. Only a person can change a person. Only that individual can change themselves. You cannot change anyone. You cannot change another person. The only thing you can do is give them information to help them change, maybe motivate them. But again, if they don't want it, they're not going to do it. They're just not. And the sooner that you start accepting the people in your life for who they are, the easier it's going to be. If somebody says they're a thief, then they're a thief. Let them be a thief. Just don't keep them around you. Don't judge them. Don't do this. Don't mistreat them. If they want to be a thief, just say, hey, you can't be around me. And if I know I'm going to be around you, I'm just going to keep all my valuables away from you. It reminds me of the clip from Friday. You saw Debo coming, you're putting your chains up. You're putting all your valuables away because you know Debo was finna come get it. Accept people for who they are. I don't understand why we out here trying to change people to who they have the potential to be, and then get mad because they don't want to be that person. Yeah, because you never accepted them at the beginning for who they were. Let me see if my tea didn't cool down, because that denotes a tea sip, but it hasn't cooled down yet. So I'm gonna keep blowing it. Oh, my glass is fogging up. So maybe I just drink some water in the meantime, because my mouth getting a little parched. Y'all hit me up in the comments and let me know what you think. Well, welcome, Nick. The topic is 5 things that are preventing you from having a lasting, meaningful relationship. The first thing was lack of self-knowledge. And the second thing is the inability to accept a person for who they are. We constantly try to treat people the way that we think that they should be, or we're trying to change people into somebody, and we can't change anybody. We have to accept them for who they are in that moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the third thing that is keeping you from having a lasting and meaningful relationship. That third thing is a negative mindset. This is near and dear to my heart because perception is reality. Whatever you perceive, that's what it's going to be. If you perceive something as negative, then that's what you're going to attract to yourself. That's what you're going to see with your eyes. That's the case that you're going to try to build for yourself. And no matter what anybody else does, when they try to give you this this alternative reality, it's like, no, this is what it is. And then it's something negative. That sounds like Nick. If the shoe fits. When you have a negative mindset, it affects how you respond and how you act. So when people say something and they are genuinely being, positive or trying to be helpful, but if you have a negative mindset, that can affect how you interpret somebody else's behavior. It will prevent you from getting down to the bottom of a situation because you automatically assume it's something negative, when in fact it's something totally honest. But because you have that negative mindset, that negative perception of people and things and events, you see that person's behavior as something negative, and now you don't want to be bothered with them. Now you're breaking up with them. Now you done started a whole argument. If you have more disagreements than you have agreements, you might want to check your mindset. That's all I'm saying. Maybe too much negative pretense of people out there, so you take everyone with a grain of salt so they see who you are. That's one way to do it. In fact, growing up, they had this thing. It was expect the worst, because if something better happens, then it's good. But if something bad happens, you're already prepared for it, right? And I had that mindset for years. And I know many people in my generation growing up had that same mindset. Assume the worst, prepare for the worst, go for the worst. But the thing that's with that mindset is, when you have that mindset, you're attracting negativity to you. You're attracting bad things to you. You're waiting for bad things to happen. And so it will happen. But it was when I changed my mindset to stop focusing on the worst that can happen. Well, let me say, what are some good things that can happen? How can I make good things happen? What skill set do I need to deal with this situation, regardless whether it's good or bad? What resources do I need to make this a more positive event? How can I make this event more successful? How can I make this situation better? When I started changing that mindset, that thought process, life became just a little bit easier to deal with. People became a little bit more helpful. I began to get a little bit more resources once I began to change how I thought about a situation. Because when you have that prepare for the worst, you start treating people as if the worst is about to happen. You start behaving like the worst is about to happen, instead of walking in some authority and some confidence. You're walking in shame and guilt and all of this because of something that may or may not happen, because you assuming the worst of what could happen instead of assuming the best that could happen. When you assume the best that can happen, even if something bad happens, you still have the mindset to say, oh, yeah, that's bad, but I can deal with that because I already have an optimistic mindset. I'm already on the positive side. So anything bad that can happen, I already prepared myself, not by focusing on the bad, but focusing on the good and ensuring that I have resources to handle whatever that comes. Nick said maybe too much negative. Oh, I already saw that. He said examine the relationship. There's wolf in sheep's clothing. Yes, you're absolutely right. There are some negative people out there. But the thing is, when you have the negative mindset, the thing that a negative mindset will do, it will keep you from taking responsibility for yourself. It will keep you, it will have you blaming everybody else for everything that's wrong in your life. You will start blaming people for everything. And you wonder why stuff is not happening, because you have a negative mindset and you're burning bridges and you're lashing out because that negative mindset going to feel the anger that's in you, because you already have the perception that somebody's going to mistreat me, somebody's going to do this to me. And so when it happens, you're like, see, I knew it. I knew it. I knew that was going to happen. Well, welcome back, Nick. I was talking about your examine the relationship comment. Don't know if you missed it or gathered it, but what I was saying is what a negative mindset does is keep you from taking responsibility for your thoughts, action, and behavior. And what you tend to do is blame other people for everything that's going wrong in your life, instead of looking at yourself saying, how can I do better? What can I have done differently that this did not happen? Despite what whoever did and what whoever did not do, take the responsibility for yourself and your thoughts and your behaviors. Stop blaming other people. When you have that negative mindset, it keeps you in a bad mood and it keeps you angry. It keeps you on edge. That negative mindset will ruin a relationship so fast. It will ruin a relationship at work, romantic relationship, friendship relationship, family relationship. That negative mindset will ruin a lot of things, because you're already expecting people to behave negatively. You're already expecting people to do stuff to you. But you don't take the time to, like 50 said, I think it was 50 I was reading. I think I was reading his book. I'm trying to think what book I'm on now. Yeah, I think it was 50. Reading 50's book, and he said, things don't happen to you. Things happen because of you. And so when you understand that things don't happen to you, but they happen because of you, you're able to start taking responsibility for your actions. You start to say, oh, this person did this because I did this. It happened because of me, because of my actions, because of my thoughts. People are treating me like this because of what I'm doing and how I'm responding to people and how I'm treating people, how I'm reacting to certain situations. A negative mindset will have you being the victim in every situation. Oh, I can't believe so-and-so did this to me. Yeah, but what did you do? How could you have prevented that from happening? And I know some people are going to be like, oh, I just cut them off. I can just cut them off. Yeah, you can do that. Or you can take responsibility for your actions. Take responsibility for your mindset. Change your perception of life. You could. But for some of y'all won't do that because the journey would be hard. It'll be too different for you to look at the world from a different lens. Some of y'all are too afraid to have a more positive outlook, to be more optimistic. Some of y'all are comfortable being the grouch in the family. and you won't change, and you're going to remain the same for the rest of the time that you're here on this earth. But I'm here to tell you this. You're not going to have many lasting relationships. I'm not going to say that you're not going to have none. You're just not going to have a lot of lasting, meaningful relationships on this earth because of that negative, grouchy mindset. And as you get older, it's going to get worse because you're going to be even more set in your ways. Ooh, that looked like a tea time break. Ooh, I might be able to drink it now. Ooh. I'm gonna pause there and see what y'all got to say about the third thing, this negative mindset. So, since y'all ain't got nothing to say, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to thing number 4. The fourth thing that is keeping you from having a lasting or meaningful relationship is lack of commitment and determination. Lack of commitment and determination. So many in this generation, I'm gonna say my generation, because I think it kind of started with my generation, and on back. It may have been with my mom's generation, but it's just getting worse at every situation. I mean, every generation after. We want things done quickly and easily. That's why we have so much technology, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a bad thing definitely when we start talking about relationships. You're not going to have, when you look at these people that's been married 50 years, you're not going to have that relationship after the first year. You're not. You haven't been through anything. It's the trials and tribulations that bring you closer to that person. And so many people lack that ability to commit to the relationship and use their determination to go through the hard times, to go through the woods, to go through their desert time. Too many people out here trying to duplicate relationships instead of replicate relationships. Thank you, Alvin. Too many people out here trying to duplicate instead of replicate. So when you duplicate, you just see something and then you just try to do it. And I use this example often in my relationship. I mean, in my talks. So dealing with my first husband, love him to pieces. Still talk to him to this day. He's an amazing guy. But when we met, I wasn't cooking. I told him I didn't cook like that, didn't like to cook, whatever. And he was a chef. He loves to cook. He was a chef in the military, so he loves to cook. That was like his passion. But for some reason, once we got married, he was like, he expected me to cook. And the reason he expected me to cook, because that's what his mom did. His mom cooked and did all this stuff in the house. And so he was trying to duplicate his parents' marriage instead of replicate the marriage, which means make it your own. Get an understanding of what works in the relationship, the tools and the concepts and all that. Get an understanding of what is needed to have a good and healthy relationship and apply that to your own relationship. That's when you replicate. You can't replicate if you don't understand. And many people lack an understanding of what is required for a healthy relationship. And a lot of y'all are missing commitment, and determination. Things happen in a relationship that can either be roadblocks, end of the road, or speed bumps. But for some reason in this generation, when anything happens, it can be the smallest thing. They said that's a dead end, and they gonna turn around without you. Like, that's the end of the relationship. It's cut off. It's a dead end. Ain't no more turns. That's it. And that's why divorce is so high. And that's why people aren't even getting married no more. Because they're not determined in their relationships. They're not determined to go through the mud with their partners. They're not willing to weather the storm with their partners. At any sign of I don't even want to use the word danger, but any sign of a struggle, they want to run out. They want to leave the relationship. They're not committed to nothing, let alone trying to be committed to a person. They're not even committed to themselves, and not even determined to make themselves better, let alone trying to be committed and determined to another person. Let me sip my tea on that. Or the partner is not willing to? Right. I totally agree. However, that goes back to not failing to accept the person for who they are, which was the second thing that I said that prevents people from having a lasting relationship. So we know in the beginning that these people aren't committed or determined to do nothing. We know that when we're dating them, but we overlook it and go ahead and get married anyway. You already see that they're getting fed up, but y'all still decide to get married anyway. You know how I know? Because I've done it. I've done it. I know the relationship is not going well, but they still propose anyway. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh, he wants to marry me. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. Lie again. Because I didn't accept that person for who they were at that time. We're not being committed to evolve on our own. So we're not willing to accept when our partner evolves. And sometimes our partner evolves and our other partner does not. They just want to stay the same. But if you know who you are and you're ever changing and you're ever evolving and you want to be great, why would you connect with somebody who is still the same person that they were when you first met them? If y'all dated I usually don't date my spouse for a long time before you get married, but many of y'all date y'all spouses for 2, 3, 4, 5, 16 years. And if they're the same person that you met in the beginning, you know they're not about to evolve. You already see you trying to do better and they just stuck. They comfortable. But you fail to accept them for who they are. You can't know someone because people give you a facade. So this is what I'm going to say to that. I totally agree. And this is why I agree. Because you will never really know a person. You will never really know yourself because we're always changing. And the person that you were 5 minutes ago may not be the person you were now. So it's not necessarily that it's a facade, but some people can do that. But it's the fact that they evolve and they change. Now, there are some people who like to keep their lives separate, right? So those are like, the rapists and the murderers and all this other stuff who keep their life or their, whole other family that they have, they keep that separate from their, life. And some people are good at that. I mean, hey, what can I say? But at basic level, people are not looking to understand the person. I don't want to say understand. I want to say people are not looking to know who a person is. Let me break this down. We get caught in surface level stuff. The surface level, how they make us feel inside, what resources they can provide for you. Oh, they can buy me a house. Oh, they put money in my account. They can get my hair done, my nails done. They buy me the next, shoes. They buy me the PlayStation 5. They give, they're good in bed or whatever the case may be. Because I was about to go left. I was about to be real transparent with y'all, but I'm on Facebook. I don't need them to try to block me. But we do not get surface level to understand, to know who we are dealing with. And I had to learn that, because one, I had to go back to the first thing that is preventing us is know myself. I had to figure out who I was. I had to figure out my morals, my values, and what it looks like in real life. And if you don't know what these things look like, how are you looking for these things in other people? If you don't know what honesty looks like, if you don't know what humbleness looks like, if you have not defined those things for yourself and your behavior matches up with those things, then how are you expecting it from other people? And it's hard. And let me tell you why I say you need to define those things and know the behaviors that match it, because it's different in everybody. And when you define those things, you do the research, you look it up, you read the Bible, or if you're a Bible reader, whatever resources you want, you look at people that you think that possess that, and then you define it, because everybody's definition is different. How you define humbleness and how it looks to you may not be how that looks to that person. But until you're able to have that conversation, until you're able to define it for yourself and make sure that your behavior, your thoughts, not just your behavior, but also your thoughts. If you claim to be a humble man and you're out here with egotistical thoughts, are you really humble? Because it's not just behavior. Behavior is just a leaf in there. But it stems from your heart and your mind, which goes back to that having that negative mindset. So if you're always thinking negative, what do you think your behavior is doing? What actions do you think that you're causing in other people? If you're always negative and you always got drama, you always arguing with people, always lashing out on people, how do you think people are going to react around you? You think somebody's going to want to be around somebody who's always angry, always negative? Do you think, they'll just be like, oh, okay, well, they're good secretaries, so I'm going to keep them around for their secretarial skills, but that's it. I can't do nothing more than that because they're too negative. I can't keep that negative energy around. But they're good at their job, so I'm allowed them to do their job, but that's it. That's all they can get. So people are not mistreating you. They're reacting to you. Let me sip tea. Like 50 said, people are not doing stuff to you. People are doing stuff because of you. So what are your actions, your thoughts? What are they telling someone else? If you're always thinking that someone is using you or out to get you or out to steal from you or going to cheat on you, if you're always thinking this, how you think you're going to act? One of my spouses put a tracking device and a microphone recording phone conversations. How do you think your behavior, because of your negative mindset, how do you think people are receiving that? Do you think people want to be around you? Do you think people just tolerating you because you're good at what you do? Do you think people just tolerating you despite your negativity because they know maybe deep down that you are a humble person, you're just surrounded by negativity and they don't want that part of you? For some of y'all need to really sit down and do some self-evaluations. What y'all got to say in the comments? Y'all have any questions before I move on to the last thing? I said I need to make sure I smile more, but when I started getting passionate, that smile, like, oh my gosh, it. But I get so passionate because I want y'all to be better. I want y'all to have lasting relationships. Like, it feels so good to know that despite what's going on, you have an awesome support team. You have people around you, that will be there for you in your time of need. Like, that is an amazing feeling. It is amazing feeling once all that negative weight has lifted off of you. It's an amazing feeling when you're not surrounded by negativity. Like, y'all don't understand, and I want y'all to understand. Like, some of y'all can't understand right now, but I want you to understand, and that's why I'm so passionate, because I've been there. I've been the negative person. I've been the person pushing everybody away. So I know if y'all can figure this out, if I can help you get to the other side, the weight that just lifts, you feel so much lighter. Having meaningful relationships in your life is amazing. Amazing, I tell you. So I get real passionate about it, and my smile is just like, but I got to make sure I smile more. But I'm gonna go ahead and go on to the last thing that is preventing you from having a lasting and meaningful relationship. Ooh, excuse me. That thing is the inability to regulate your emotions and inability to communicate. And I lump those things together because some of y'all can communicate a little bit when you're calm. Like, it's easy to be like, yeah, hey girl, how you doing? Yeah, it was this, and this, this is what's going on. Yeah, it's good. It's easy to have those conversations. The conversations, if you haven't learned how to really communicate, is when those emotions come out. That's how you know when you can't communicate. It's when those emotions come out and then your communication skills go out the window. when that anger and sadness come in, and you can no longer communicate your thoughts and feelings, then you have not learned how to communicate, and you need to work on it. You have to learn how to regulate. And I hate to use that word regulate, but for lack of a better words, I'm going to use that. But to regulate your emotions in a manner that you can control them, I guess. So I'm not saying that you can't feel the emotion, because I definitely want you to feel. I want you to feel angry if anger is warranted. I want you to feel frustrated when frustration is warranted. I want you to feel sad when sad is warranted. I want you to feel happy or surprised or fear when your life is in danger. I want you to feel the emotion. But I want you to be able to communicate that emotion and understand why that emotion is present. And some of y'all just can't do that. Y'all get angry and see red, and then that's all she wrote. And you wonder why you can't have no meaningful relationship, because you done cussed out the whole world. You done snapped on everybody. You done broke windows, punched eyeballs, black eyes, broken bones, because you can't control your anger. Some of y'all out here jealous. Why y'all jealous? Because you don't know who you are. You don't have self-worth of what you bring to the table. You have a negative mindset that's preventing you from trusting. Have you searching through people's pockets, their medias, their text message, their phone? If you don't trust the person and you feel like you got to go through all that, why is you even with them? You need an excuse to leave? Well, just say, hey, I don't trust you. You can't be in a relationship with somebody you don't trust. I do not understand why we're going in 2020. We're still trying to get the passcode to somebody's phone. If you feel like it's that important to have access to somebody's phone, then that needs to be a stipulation in your relationship at the beginning. And if they don't want to give you their passcode, why are you in the relationship? I'm going to ask you that again. Why? If you don't trust them, they're not meeting your standards, but you're still there. Why? Still there in these negative relationships that's causing you harm. And you wonder why you're upset and unhappy, because you don't know how to control your emotions. You're lashing out. You can't communicate. You have a negative mindset. You don't trust the person that you're with, but you're still there. You're still there. You don't know who you are, so you're scared to leave because you're scared you're not going to find somebody else that's going to be there for you. So you tolerate this other foolishness that the other person giving you because you haven't taken the time to know who you are and your unique gift. Everybody has a unique gift. I was listening to Kev on stage the other day when they was talking about Black is King and how everybody has their own unique gift. Like there's 1,000 other public speakers like myself. There's 1,000 million other life coaches out there, but there's only one P. Gibbs LES. And there's certain people that are going to understand me and attach to me because I do it the way that God allowed me to do it. I have my uniqueness in what I do. But some of y'all haven't found y'all unique gift. Y'all haven't taken the time to know who you are. Y'all need to figure out your emotions and how to regulate them. Learn how to communicate. So even if you're in an emotional turmoil, you're still able to explain why you're feeling this way. This is how I'm feeling. I'm angry. And this is why I'm angry. You want a lasting relationship, it's going to take work. It's going to take work on self. It's going to take a journey. It's going to take a process. And you have to be willing to go through this process. You don't have to go through this journey and process alone. Again, I'm here for you. And I'm pretty sure you have other friends and family that will help you through this journey. If you want me to help you through this journey, I got you. Send me a DM, email me, info@pgibbsles.com. I got you. Because I want better for you. I want you not to go through the things that I went through. I want you to have an awesome support team. I want you to be able to function better on your jobs. That you're not being weighed down by what coworkers Sue and whoever else is doing. I want you to be the greatest. I want you to be the greatest version of yourself. So if you don't want to go through this journey alone, I got you. You need help in your relationships, I got you. And if y'all don't have any more questions or comments, I'm going to go ahead and end the live. But I'm going to remind you, the 5 things that are keeping you from having a lasting and meaningful relationship: lack of self-knowledge, not accepting people for who they are, a negative mindset, lack of commitment and dedication, this microwave generation. And the 5th one is emotion regulation and communication. Got to do better. Got to do better with your ability to communicate. So I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining in with Tea Time with your girl, P. If y'all have any topics that you want to discuss, hit me up in my inbox, or you can email me. And we can have this conversation, or I can put it in the rotation to have that conversation. Thank you again for joining in. Thank you. Join the conversation. I got you. Email me. Oh, check out my free gift. That's what it was I wanted to say. Check out my free gift. I'm supposed to be changing it this week. So check it out. It's talking about conflict right now. It's changing this week. I will change it this week because the sound on my free gift is horrible. So check it out. pgibbslesfreegift.com. Y'all have a happy Tuesday.